Hi friends, my name is Santosh Kumar. Today I am going to take a class on clinical research and overview and briefly about the clinical research things that are defined, and I am going to explain that. Um, First of all, I want like to tell about uh, titles and their definitions. Applicable regulatory requirements. What is called applicable regulatory requirements? Any laws and regulations that addressing the conduct of the clinical trial of investigational products. Any laws and regulations addressing the conduct of clinical trials of investigational products is called applicable regulatory requirements. These applicable regulatory requirements are nothing but the regulatory body which is of the country that allows and gives approvals for the conduct of the clinical trial for the investigation of the new drug or investigational product. Do you understand? And next, audit certificate, a declaration and confirmation by the auditor that an audit has taken place. What is audit certificate? A declaration and confirmation by auditor that audit has taken place. After completion of the audit, the auditor gives the audit certificate. It is a confirmation by the audit that audit has taken place, and it is a declaration. And what is investigational brochure? Investigational brochure, a compilation of clinical and non-clinical data on investigational product which is relevant to the study of the investigational product in human subjects. This investigator brochure is most important thing in clinical research, where it is a compilation. That information is of the investigational product. What are the information of the investigational product? That is a clinical or non-clinical data relevant for the study of that investigational product on human subjects is the investigational brochure. It is an essential document. Investigational brochure is an essential document which is compiled in the trial master file. And informed consent. Informed consent. What is informed consent? A process by which a subject voluntarily confirms his or her willingness to participate in a particular trial after having been informed of all aspects of the trial that are relevant to the subject's decisions to participate. Informed consent is documented by means of written, signed and dated informed consent form. Like informed consent is a process that is given by the clinical research coordinator or the clinical research associate for the voluntary participation of the individual human being, whoever it is willing to participate in a particular trial, clinical trial, and his decision is based on the information given to the person that has to be documented by his written, signed, dated informed consent form, and all the aspects and the trial information to be provided to that subject or the him or her, whoever willing to participate in the trial. Informed consent is nothing but a process by which a subject voluntarily confirms his or her willingness to participate in a particular trial after having been informed of all aspects of the trial that are relevant to the subject's decisions to participate. Informed consent is documented by means of a written, signed and dated informed consent form. In informed consent form, this whoever be the person willing to participate in a particular clinical trial, that he confirms his or her willingness to participate particular trial, and after having been informed of the all aspects of the trial and the relevant information, and his decision to participate has been documented with his own sign and signature and dated in the informed consent form. And clinical trial. Definition of clinical trial: the evaluation, safety and efficacy of investigational product in human subjects. Clinical trial definition is nothing but the evaluation of the safety and efficacy of the investigational product in human subjects. An investigational product has been tested for the safety and efficacy in human being. That is called clinical trial. Okay. And next, and what is GCP? GCP definition is good clinical practice is an international ethical and scientific quality standard for designing, conducting, recording and reporting trials that are involves the participation of human subjects. This one is the old definition. Maybe now ICH GCP is updated, glossary is updated and definitions have been meant to be, some changes are occurred. So this is the old definition of GCP. GCP means good clinical practice is an international ethical scientific quality standard for designing, conducting and recording and reporting trials that involves the participation of human subjects. Good clinical practice means an international ethical and quality standard for the designing, conducting, recording and reporting trials that involves the participation of human subjects. Whoever be the human subjects that are participating in clinical trials should be like ethical standards should be followed for that whatever be the clinical trials. And ICH is International Conference on Harmonization. It is a ICH that brings the GCP principles. And ADR, adverse drug reaction, whatever be the drug that investigational product is has an adverse drug reaction. And AE is adverse event. And IRB is the main regular body. IRB is a institutional review board that approves for the clinical trial procedures and compensation and everything that happens in the clinical trials is overviewed by the institutional review boards. And standard operating procedures, SOPs that are being followed by the clinical research associates and everyone that are being, whoever is conducting the clinical trials should follow the standard operating procedures. And case report form, CRF is a case report form is a definition is case report form, a printed optical or electronic document designed to record all the protocol information to be reported to the sponsor on each trial subject. Case report form is a printed or optical or electronic document. It is a document designed to record all the protocol required information. Whatever be the protocol information should be recorded in this document to be reported to the sponsor on each trial subject. Every subject is being recorded for the protocol required information to be recorded in the case report form. And next, regulatory authorities, bodies having the power to regulate. In the ICH GCP guideline, the expression regulatory authorities includes the authorities that review submitted clinical data and these that conduct inspections. These bodies sometimes referred as competent authorities. There is an regulatory authorities that are called bodies that has the power to regulate, and the in GCP guideline and expression what is called regulator that is includes the authorities that review submitted clinical data and these that conduct inspections. It also conduct inspections. These bodies sometimes referred as competent authorities. And serious adverse event, SAE, serious adverse event, any untoward medical occurrence that has any that at any dose results in death. First of all, SAE means serious adverse event or serious ADR, any untoward medical occurrence that at any dose. Any untoward medical occurrence means any event that has happened at any dose that due to that consequences into results in death or life-threatening condition or requires inpatient hospitalization or prolongation of existing hospitalization or results in persistent or significant disability or incapacity is a congenital anomaly or birth defect. These are the major serious adverse events that occurs in clinical trials. And essential documents which individually and collectively permit evaluation of the conduct of the study and quality of the data produced. Essential documents are the documents which individually and collectively permits evaluation of the conduct of the study and quality of the data produced. These essential documents are used to review and that shows the conduct of the study and quality of the data produced. And randomization, the process of assigning a trial subject to treatment like A or B or test or reference or control groups using an element of chance to determine the assignments in order to reduce bias. Randomization is always given to the clinical trial participants in dividing them into groups and that are being tested for their significance by reducing the bias. So they use the element of chance to determine the assignments in order to reduce the bias, and it is called randomization. It is prepared by biostatistician. And protocol, a document that describes the objective. Protocol is the major part of the clinical trial procedure, and it is a document that describes objectives of the study, clinical trial, and design of the clinical trial, methodology of the clinical trial, and statistical considerations of the clinical trial, and organization of the trial. The trial has been conducted in which organization also been described in that protocol. And protocol usually also gives the background and rationale for the trial. Protocol always gives the background and rationale for the trial, but this could be provided in other protocol referenced documents. This could be provided in other protocol reference documents. And Schedule Y, requirements and given guidelines. Schedule Y is not present right now. It is one of the export and import of the investigational drug products that has been brought by India, and it is not there right now. Schedule Y is not required. And I have to tell about the essential documents. Documents which individually collectively permit evaluation of the study, conduct of the study, and the quality of the data produced. And these essential documents are produced before the clinical phase of the trial is commences, and during the clinical conduct of the trial, and after completion of the or termination of the clinical trial. These essential documents are being produced. And approval, what is meant by approval? The affirmative decision of the institutional review board that the clinical trial has been reviewed and may be conducted at the institution site within the constraints set forth by the institutional review board, the institution, GCP, and the applicable regulatory requirements. It is the approval means the institutional review board has been reviewed the clinical trial data, and the GCP of the institution and applicable regulatory requirements of the institution has been reviewed and given permission or approval for the conducting of the trial. Audit, a systemic and independent examination of the trial related activities and documents to determine whether the evaluated trial related activities are conducted and the data were recorded, analyzed, and accurately reported according to the protocol, sponsors, GCP, and applicable regulatory requirements. When audit and taken place, audit is an systemic and independent examination of the trial related activities and documents to determine whether the evaluated clinical trial data, activities and conducted and the data were recorded, analyzed, and accurately reported according to the protocol, sponsors, SOPs, GCP, and applicable regulatory requirements. that is called audit. And audit certificate, it is already being explained. It's nothing but a declaration of confirmation by the auditor that an audit has taken place. And audit report, a written evaluation by the sponsor's auditor of the results of the audit. It is a written evaluation of the sponsor's auditor that the audit results. And audit trail, documentation that allows reconstruction of the course of the events. Audit trail is nothing but the documentation that allows the reconstruction of the course of events is called audit trail. And essential documents already explained. And blinding and masking, what is blinding and masking? A procedure in which one or more parties of the trial are kept unaware of the clinical trial assignments. Like when the clinical trial conducting clinical trial, the treatment given to the clinical trial participant and the parties, one or more parties, whoever are conducting the trial, are kept unaware of the assignments. And single blinding usually refers to subjects being unaware, and the double blinding usually refers to the subjects, investigators and monitor, and in some cases data analysts are being unaware of the treatment assignments. It's called blinding or masking. Masking or blinding is the same thing. And GCP, already GCP definition is explained. A standard for the design, conduct, performance monitoring, auditing, recording, analysis and reporting of the clinical trial, and provides assurance that the data and the reported results are credible and accurate, and that the rights, integrity and the confidentiality of the trial subjects are protected. And clinical trial subject, who is a trial subject is now is called trial participant, an individual who participates in a clinical trial either as a recipient of investigational product or as a control. Is investigational product given to or is on control group, then he is a trial subject. On audit, and now what are the documents that are being placed in the trial master file? Trial master file is called TMF, and there, before commencing a clinical trial phase, we have to place the investigator brochure, where investigator brochure has a clinical and non-clinical information of the investigational product, and it is given by the sponsor, and it is placed in sponsor and investigational institution. And signed protocol and amendments, whatever be the protocols and amendments has to be placed in trial master file. And if any, and sample case report form, a copy of case report form being placed in the trial master file for the reference. And information given to the trial subject, and whatever be the information given to the trial subject has to be placed for the sample of the sample copy of the informed consent form, any other written information that has given, and advertisement for the subjects, or the pamphlets or the brochures provided for the subjects, advertisement for the recruitment also being placed in the trial master file. Financial aspects of the trial, and financial aspects of the trials also placed in the trial master file. And insurance statement is a nothing but the compensation for the individuals who are participating in the should be covered in that insurance statement. And signed agreement between involved parties, it is a confidentiality agreement, like between the investigator and the sponsor, investigator and the contract research organization. Sponsor standard operating procedures, it is nothing but sponsors whoever follows the standard operating procedures. And good clinical practice and applicable regulatory requirements. The principles of ICH GCP. These are the old principles, and the first principle is clinical trial should be conducted in accordance with the ethical principles that have their origin in Declaration of Helsinki and that are consistent with the GCP and the applicable regulatory requirements. And second principle, before a trial is initiated, the foreseeable risks and inconveniences should be weighed against the anticipated benefits for the individual trial subject and society. Trial is initiated or continued only if the anticipated benefits justify the risks. The rights, safety and well-being of the trial subjects are the most important considerations and should prevail over the interests of science and society is the third principle. And sponsors and CRO investigators authority were required, and data documented approval of the favorable opinion of the IRB IEC following approvals of the IRB IEC should be given, and composition of that IRC IEC should be kept. And fourth principle, the available non-clinical and clinical information on an investigational product should be adequate to support the proposed clinical trial. And clinical trial should be scientifically sound and described in a clear detailed protocol. A trial should be conducted in compliance with the protocol that has received prior institutional review board or independent ethics committee favorable opinion. And medical care given to or medical decisions made on behalf of subjects should be always be the responsibility of the qualified physician and when appropriate of the qualified dentist. Each individual involved in the conducting a trial should be qualified by education, training and experience to perform his or her respective tasks. Free given informed consent should be obtained from every subject prior to clinical trial participation. All clinical trial information should be recorded, handled and stored in a way that allows its accurate reporting, interpretation and verification. The confidentiality of the records that could identify subject safety. Subjects should be protected and respecting the privacy and confidentiality rules in accordance with the applicable regulatory requirements. Investigational products should be manufactured, handled and stored in accordance with the applicable good manufacturing practices. They should be used in accordance with the approved protocol. Systems with procedures that assure the quality of every aspect of the trial should be implemented. These are the 13 principles. Okay, this is my name is Santosh Kumar. Right now I am working as a clinical research associate, and this is first video of me describing of the clinical research part in this video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and follow me for new updates in clinical trials. Thank you.